GAYBCD.
Hello. Hi.
Hello there.
Welcome. Hello there, where? Huh? Sunetro? Shunetro?
It's Sunetro.
It's like that's reserved. The first 30 seconds are reserved
this
to
debate.
you
Shunetro,
correcting me.
Sunetro.
I always end up saying Sunetro first. Yeah. I don't know why. Even though while I'm saying Sunetro, I go like, I have to say Shunetro, but I end up saying
But
Sunetro.
both are right. Like, as usual, I'm going to say
But I like
this.
Netro. Wait,
Netro. Yeah,
Netro.
you were
Just
supposed to call me
Netro?
Netro. Yeah.
How about just netty? I like
A
netty.
netty?
No, sounds like a netty pot.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Shunetro.
Yes. Hi, Farhad.
Hi, guys, whoever's, and girls, and gays, and lesbians,
And everything
asexuals.
else, yes.
Special mention asexuals. They are going through a lot of shit right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to GAYBCD.
Yes.
A brand new show.
It's our weekly update of all things life and with a queer twist, I would like to say.
Kind of, which is inclusive of you
Yes.
straight people, because now we live in a world where the straight people don't have to think about the gay people, but the gay people have to think about the straight people because you all
the
are
time.
endangered.
Yes.
Yeah, we are taking over one penile at a time.
Maybe not. Let's not cause paranoia, gay paranoia in the straight world.
Yeah, hi.
Hi there.
What's happening? What's going on? You know, so last time we decided that every time we do an episode, we will do with a brief catch up in the beginning of how your week has been.
Yes.
So,
Why don't you start?
Okay.
What's exciting from this
what's
week?
exciting? What's the best thing?
Yes.
And what's the worst thing that happened this week?
Yep.
Best thing? I got routine back in my life.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was freelancing for the longest time, and the kind of freelancing, where I'm lying down on the couch or sitting with the laptop on my chest kind of freelancing work. And now I actually have to go to an establishment every day this week. So I'm loving it. I'm loving sitting
It's
on
nice
a chair,
feeling
upright,
in control.
that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing that's happened. The money is kind of good. And the worst thing that happened, I don't know how to sum it up, but I'll try to do it in a minute. But I've been chatting. This is such a shallow problem. But I've been chatting with a boy for the past 4 to 5 years. He was in Calcutta in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then he moved to Delhi. And we've been great friends. Lots of late night conversations, chatting, sexting, dick pics. All of it has been done.
Yeah.
Even desires to someday be with each other. That kind of bullshit. And for the first time, he's coming to Bombay tomorrow. And we had a plan to meet tomorrow. But
So why is it bad?
because since the last 2 days, he's gone AWOL.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not responded to my message. We spoke last week and it was a very 28th, we are meeting, this is happening. I was very excited. In fact, I started stressing so much because... should I get into it? Why did I start stressing?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So when I started chatting with him, I was kind of in a bottom phase. I wanted to get fucked by this guy. But now I'm in an alpha top phase.
Then.
So I don't know how it's going
There
to
it
work.
goes.
It's not like he's busy because he's a TikTok star. Do you know? I'm so sorry. Don't judge me.
That's not,
I'm about to hook up with
that's
someone
also-
who's very popular on TikTok.
Yeah.
So he uploaded 5 TikToks since yesterday, but he's not messaged me about what the plan is tomorrow. So that's the worst thing that's happening to. It's very shallow. I'm so sorry, but I just need him to message me right now, because even if he does, by tomorrow, now I'll be irritated that why the fuck did he? Am I at his beck and call? What the fuck? So that's the worst thing that's happened to me.
Okay.
Time for an update from you.
Well, what's the best thing that happened? I actually got to spend a lot of time chatting with my father and catching up, because we do that a lot but when work gets busy, it kind of dwindles. And just for all of you guys, we don't stay together. So
He's in Ranchi.
He's in Ranchi, and different cities, and life takes over, yada yada yada. So we spent this weekend, we spent a lot of time catching up and chatting and all of that. And it also sort of happened to be, it's one thing leads to another. So the worst thing happened in the conversation, and it's not really the worst thing, but it's one of those triggers where we kind of, so my mom's no more, and my dad sort of it's I feel like he holds on to it still.
Okay.
and it's been 8 years since.
Okay.
But yeah, the least happy thing that happened to me was the spiral of a conversation that went down this path of he misses my mom still, and I just froze. Like, I didn't know how to help him, how to react, and the only thing I could say was, yeah, I miss her too, and that's it. Like, I wanted to get done with the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was this conversation? Like,
this was over the weekend, like,
Okay, okay.
a couple of days back. So
heavy stuff.
yeah, a little
But
heavy.
what the fuck? Life it gets heavy.
Yeah, shit
And,
happens, bro.
man. What the fuck? Let's just why can't that be this conversation? That should be this today's topic. Yeah.
What, like dads and moms, or
Just how do you feel? What's happening? Because today, again, for whoever's listening, I know Sunetro. He enters a room and he's entered. But today, the way, I don't know, there was something amiss, and he told me earlier prior to this episode about what has happened and what he's going through, and we instantly were like, you know what, we need to start talking about real stuff, because and I would love to talk about mothers today, just in general, if that's fine, because
even if it's something that sort of disturbs us, or something that brings us down, it's important to
just
have
the contrast
conversation.
of it, because like when you tell me about this, I have an extremely strained relationship with my mother.
Yeah.
Now it's in a zone where I can't say it's strained also, but I still know that it's a very strained, very fragile, can shatter in like a second kind of a relationship. And then there's you who's like had to go through the past 8 years dealing with this in whatever sense, and it visibly still affects you. So let's get into it. Yeah?
All right.
What? Come on. Where do you want to begin?
So tell me about your relationship. How has it evolved? How has it evolved over the years? Let's say from your
It's not
teenage
evolved.
years.
I'll stop you right there. It's not evolved. I've just got used to the fact that I will never get along with her. This is how she is. And that sort of acceptance has kind of helped me accept her. Because there's some sort of like, and I'm very vocal. I'm very vocal about this. A lot of my friends know what I used to see as mommy issues in the past.
Yeah.
I don't see as mommy issues anymore. I just felt like it was my way of processing. And we are talking about, how motherhood is looked at since the beginning of time.
Course, yeah.
Like,
so
what I
many
mean?
Expectations.
Yeah, so I stand on this side of the spectrum where I am supposed to love my mom. I'm supposed to forgive my mom, regardless of whatever might have happened. If you want to get into that, we'll have to do 3 different episodes.
Oh, good Lord,
3 installments of what went wrong. But it's just... I'm just, right now, to answer your question, nothing's changed. It's still the same. I've just learned to not give in, like not let her get a reaction out of me, and that is a minor victory every day.
Wow.
Like this week alone, 2 conversations with her, and I was ready to like rip my hair out and a little bit of her hair out, if I can say that. But yeah, you tell me, like, how have you dealt with this?
It's my mom and me, we've gone through like a plethora of stages, and so for the longest time I was like this. So my brother sort of left the house for his studies and all of that. Elder brother. Okay. He's 3 years older than me.
Okay.
When I was like 12, so he post his 10th standard, like 10th grade, he left the city, and I kind of became the only child at that point of time. So as a result of that, there was a lot of mollycoddling and all of that. So I was like mama's boy for those 3 years, and then I left the city.
Okay.
And suddenly everything changed. I left the city. I found
yourself.
I found myself. I came into my own gradually.
Sorry, were you out to her by then?
So no, that's the thing. So I mean, I was 15 and I'd had I was still figuring myself out because my first relationship was with a boy, and then it was with a girl, and she actually was more affected by the fact that I was dating this girl than the boy, like, because I could figure that she figured that there was something between me and this boy because he was a family friend and yada yada yada. But when I left the city, there were we wouldn't connect very often.
Okay.
We would connect on on phone calls and all of that. So things started becoming a little strained there because it was almost a duty. And it came to a head over time when there was and this is when I was really, really sort of coming into my own, and I was evolving into understanding that I am a member of the queer community, and queer could be anything. The fact that you cannot expect me to fit in a mold is something I had come to realize.
Okay.
And one of the first conversations I'd had was me actually trying to brainwash my parents by switching on Brokeback Mountain when it was being telecast. And as a result of that, I wanted some reaction out of her. And there was no reaction. And then I tried prodding and I said...
Obviously, Brokeback Mountain is the most unrealistic gay movie ever made.
No, but like what I wanted to prod about is that, what do you feel about this? Like, is this out of the ordinary for you, or is this ordinary for you? And the response was shocking because my dad, who's like technically an alpha male, his response was, yeah, I mean, it happens. Whereas my mom her reaction was something to akin to saying, I don't know if I will ever be okay with something like this. And that kind of stayed with me. Got it. That stayed.
Non-acceptance.
And not that I wanted her acceptance. And that kind of stayed with me. And over time, like, we were estranged for a bit. And then post that, we really got close because, we sorted through our differences. And by the time we sorted our differences, by the time I was ready to really have this conversation saying, hey, this is who I am, she passed away.
Fuck.
And I don't have a lot of regrets in life, but the one thing that keeps biting me is I wish I could have had this conversation, not of, coming out to her, but like having a conversation saying, hey, this exists and there is something that exists within your family. And I want you to be okay with it. And you need to be okay with it. Like that closure to that conversation. It's still, that's the one thing that I guess
not to belittle your individual problem, but isn't this... I have not been through this, right? I have not been through the loss of a parent yet. It's an impending loss that I stress about a lot of times. But isn't this in some way a part of LGBTQ culture? Because acceptance with parents doesn't come easy.
Absolutely.
And this whether it's a father who like, you are not my son because you're a fucking fag, and then the father is gone. And I have friends who've been through this, exact... Would they have accepted me if they were still around? Would they have... that sort of lingering question.
It's a very common theme. It's like...
I can totally imagine.
And it eats you up because you don't get the answer to it. And I guess that's why you look for surrogates. Chosen families. And it's... that's something that eats you. You don't realize that it's eating you.
Here I am listening to this with an extreme, again, like I said, an extremely strained relationship with my mom. And this is something I worry about all the time. Like, she's still not accepted me for who I am. And I've never given her the chance because it's not her power to take from me.
Yes,
you know
of
what
course.
I mean?
Like,
it's mine.
Of course.
I feel like these are things earlier when I said as a younger person, I felt like I'm trying to be extra confident and all. But as I grew, I believed that I was genuinely confident that this is my thing and it is not your fucking headache. You know what I mean? So I never gave her that power. But that doesn't stop me from thinking that in the event of her not being around physically, will this all these things
unravel.
That I've built, like, oh my God, I've felt so confident about my sexuality and I don't care about what, will it just like fucking House of Cards fall? I think about it all the time. So I just love how parallelly, like, even though our stories are entirely different, the larger cloud on top of our heads is kind of
similar.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I would have liked to believe, like, when it happened 8 years back, I was living a very out, proud, open, like, I was in college then, I was in post-grad college, and And I never felt like I needed her approval, but then this happens, and then you feel like
And it comes, I
life.
get where you're going, and it comes from, again, there's some part of being gay that comes of like living in small cocoons.
Yes.
Yeah, like you just said, you were out and proud. But you weren't entirely out and proud to the people who fucking brought you into this world. You know what I mean?
Blood.
It is such a confusing feeling because you feel like, I am living
my life.
Yeah, but then you're not.
Is it why is this part, which is supposed to be my primary life, my primary identity, why is that hidden? Why is that not acknowledged? And that keeps circumambulating your thoughts.
But would you, and I don't mean to prod or pry in any
this is a tell-all.
But obviously this day means a lot, like in terms of emotionally, it really wrecks you visibly. And like, would you say that this is the reason why it wrecks you, this whole acceptance issue, or like there's multiple things that are going on? Like,
it's strange because there are a lot of things, because we were very similar as people. And I'll tell you the first time I realized that this day wrecks me, and just to kind of tell you how I make sense of this day, of a day where things come crashing down on me, of when my mom's no more. I don't allow myself to think about it throughout the year, and I allow this one day to kind of take over completely.
That's
amazing. And I let things just flow. And the first time it really, really got me was exactly on this day 7 years back. It was a 1-year anniversary and death anniversary, and I wanted to make flan.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I love flan, and my mom used to make the best flan.
Okay.
And so I wanted to make flan, and I was putting the recipe together. I was putting the ingredients together, and I forgot how many eggs to how much milk. And every time I would be confused, she would tell me, and I didn't have that shortcut anymore. And that's when it hit me. Like it was cold sweat. It was cold sweat. I remember calling a friend in the middle of the night, howling. And she was like, she was stunned. She's like, what happened? Like, what's
my flan up?
So there was that's when I figured that this is a forever thing. Because it never struck me as a forever thing. It's never going to come back. And what bothers me is so many things that I wanted for, I wanted a life where I'd live a certain way, and I wanted her to be part of that. A lot of those things kind of come and bite, where I wanted to eventually move to Bombay, and she never got to see me living in Bombay. And those are things that keep biting me. And the fact, just the elementary fact that we never saw the conversation through. And that's still, I guess that's what I process every year. And I just let it happen.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say today.
Too heavy?
No, but it's okay. Even like if someone's listening and they find this episode too grim and shit, I'm listening to whatever you're saying, right? And that's fucking life. You are not going to get closure sometimes.
No,
especially in the LGBTQ space, you are set up for a world of fucking, not only, I don't want to say disappointment, but a world of like
not
letting go of coming to terms with things that are existentially burdensome. And from your conversation, like, they involve like rebuilding your entire
universe. But
so,
do you think that this makes us maybe colder people? Because I think it did make me a colder person. Over time. That there are so many, because we kind of prep ourselves and prime ourselves for, like you were saying, expectations not being met,
Yeah.
we prime ourselves for that,
Sure.
little bit of disappointment, and you just expect the worst.
I feel like, I don't know about cold,
Hmm.
but I know I'm an extremely detached person. The older I get, the more I
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost a worry about how detached I am
Yeah.
from, because like expectations, I've learned how to squash expectations. This exact situation, what we started the conversation with,
yeah.
this boy, not
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
happening, is it not happening? If this happened 5 years ago,
It
I
would
would
crush
have,
you.
yeah, I would have gone, is it because I'm fat? Is it because this? Why would he do that? Is there some other boy he's going to meet? What if he
Yeah,
goes to
yeah,
meet my arch nemesis gay?
Yeah.
I would have done all of that. But now it's just like, everything's just
Yeah.
an and even that makes you feel like, have I become so hard that literally whatever life throws at me, I ricochet?
Oh my
It just
God.
ricochets
Same.
off me. Or like, I know, but yeah, there is some sort of but I wouldn't put that on. Like, I just feel like you are like an egg, and you sorry, I brought up an
Explain
egg. But
more.
No.
You've been talking about eggs
hard-boiled
for a while.
I was going for a hard-boiled analogy, but I just feel like you get harder the
Yeah.
more hotter life gets. Oh shit, that's
And drier.
I don't know what
As you get
what I'm
cooked more
getting
and
at. I
more.
don't know what but you get.
Yeah.
I feel like over time I've just developed a harder exterior, and that's not only. Sometimes I feel, is it because I don't want to get hurt, but sometimes I feel it's just a test of who can put those like guards down, who can unwrap this onion.
Oh my
that
God,
I am.
yeah. No, but
all the layers.
But
and
we do that. We do that very, very, very often.
Yeah,
So
but
that's, that's
it
how we
just
function.
Sometimes I hate it. I hate it that I do this, but I'm happier. So it's I don't know what the situation is. But
Well, that's life.
Yeah.
So on that note, we'll take a tiny teensy break, and we'll be back in a jiffy.
Hey everybody, you know what we've got? We've got another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you haven't been following us on YouTube, please do a search for IVM CCTV and get a peek inside what's going on in the studio. You can see excerpts from Cyrus Says, Naveen from Keeping It Queer, Akash from Varta Lab. There's stuff that we've done with Feeding 10 Billion. There are a whole bunch of little videos over there. Give it a watch and let us know what you think about that. This week on Cyrus Says, it's a podcast crossover as hosts of our new show, GAYBCD Farhad Karkaria and Sunetro and join Cyrus to talk about the meaning of being queer, how to define labels, and how their podcast came about. Also, speaking of GAYBCD, Farhad and Sunetro in their show delve into the family stories and recalling what it was like to navigate queerness as a kid. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by two guests, Ankur Chaudhary and Swapnil Bhaskar. They're the co-founders at Goldwise. They discuss the new features at Goldwise and transitioning from regular to direct mutual funds. On Golgappa, Trupti is joined by Mahesh Ane, award-winning cinematographer who is known for his work on Swades. He talks about the ups and downs that he encountered along the way in the film industry. On Ganatantra, Alok and Saryu are joined by Smitana Saikia of Flame University, Pune to talk about the history and impact of the NRC list and how it has caused marginalization in the Northeast. On another crossover, this time on What a Player, Mikhail and Siddhartha joined by Sivaram Parmeswaran, the host of the podcast Football Shitball. They talk about the thrill of watching football and following a club. On Mr. and Mrs. Binge Watch, Janice and Anirudh look back at the best and worst moments of the 2019 Emmy Awards. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by singer-songwriter Ankur Tiwari, who talks about how artists find new forms of expression and monetize their work. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
So, we were talking about eggs and hard-boiled eggs.
How I'm a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah. But speaking of, living in an ivory tower, we do that.
Sure.
We as a community kind of do that very often. Do you find that with your queer friends a lot?
Again, I would save that conversation for a time when it's not, because I'm like, did my mother, is the how much of it is because of my mother?
Yeah.
I would feel like, look, I'm 35 again. I don't see how my age has been responsible for who I've become, like experiences or whatever. But I went through that phase where I had, you would incorporate a lot of shit that your parents fucking shovel in your direction. In terms of like insecurity issues, attachment issues, detachment issues, all those sort of things, I had my phase with. But I feel I'm very lucky that all the issues that I had with my mother, and that in some way I started projecting in my relationships, and I know everybody does that. Like whatever was fucking amiss in your upbringing, somehow you fall into this cycle of doing the same shit that you thought you wouldn't do what your parents did, but you end up kind of doing. Am I wrong? Have you ever?
Not exactly. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah,
Like,
but I had that phase where I did that, but I'm glad, because I see my friends who are like 40 and 50 and they still fall into that same trap again and again. I feel like I've had a moment of clarity where I realized that my experiences cannot be forged by my past anymore.
Yeah.
That I am responsible for putting in all the work, for creating my relationship the way I foresee it or envision it in whatever sense. So in that sense, I've let go of whatever, again, shit my mom would have shoveled. And I keep saying my mom because, again, it's a very mother-specific. I don't know if I have any issues with my dad. I don't. But yeah.
What would you change about your relationship with your mother?
I wouldn't change jack shit, because I feel so many years of agony came from the fact of trying to change her or trying to understand her or trying to understand why she does what she does or...
like you wouldn't change
again,
it for...
I feel like I'm doing a little
effort?
Quentin Tarantino kind of what's in the suitcase, no one will know kind of situation. So I'll just give a larger... I was extremely physically and emotionally abused. My mom is a very angry person. If I can just be very honest, she's an extremely angry person. And life has dimmed her anger. Age has dimmed her anger now. But she has the capacity and the capability of being an absolute fucking dick even today. Like she can get something out of me in like a fucking... And like I said, like years of like therapy and like self-love and self-this, she can crash it in a second. But I don't... The power is mine now. The choice is mine now of how I respond. It's I that's the thing. The older I got, I always understood that it is my response to any situation that is vital, as opposed to what the stimulus is.
If,
you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Again, if I can shift the focus on what you are going through, do you ever feel like it's your response, or like in some way you feel like you're holding on? Because you said earlier that your dad still is there, you know, in his head, that he's not let go. But do you think you could ever, like, obviously, I don't mean like you
like
could
completely be unaffected by it?
No, not unaffected by the loss of your parent, but like,
by the
would
baggage.
you ever stop wondering? Only because I feel like a lot of people who are listening might be going through this. That, do you think you can ever come to a point where you can be like, hey, you know what? It's okay if my mom never found out what my life is like, what it turned out to be. And even if you do think that she'd just be okay. Like
I'd like to get there. Because that's letting go. Like that's letting go of, you know, that I think I don't know whether I do this out of guilt for having, you know, so I reached home quite late when this happened, and it kind of I think that guilt still stays, like I because I didn't get a flight that day and blah blah blah, and
I get it.
I don't know whether it's that guilt that keeps that thread going, and I don't know whether it's... Maybe I find like that's the one way I want to remember her, or I don't know.
Beat yourself up? Do you think? Sorry, I don't want to like be a shrink or anything, but like I just see again this.
I feel like
I have envisioned this whole. I get a phone call. It's my mom. She's like, "Hey, Dad is not around anymore. You need to get your ass to Pune." And then I literally... it takes 3 hours to sit on a bus to go to Pune. From Bandra to Chembur is
Yeah,
another
yeah,
hour.
yeah.
And I actually sometimes in my worst anxious days or most anxiety filled days, I actually will go through those 4 hours. What am I like on the bus? Am I screaming? Am I inconsolable? Am I just a hard-boiled egg who's not crying and nobody on the bus knows that the only father that I ever fucking had is no more? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I go through that. So I understand when you say like but you know what, in a lot of ways, again, being outside your body, Sunetro, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I don't think this is anything more than just because you're allowing yourself a day in the year to go through this. I feel that is so fucking great. You know what I mean? I don't think this is something you do to like, it doesn't come from a place of wallowing or like
throughout the year. I really don't, but this day I allow, all those possible thoughts, like no matter how negative, to really, it's like purging, I let it take over, feelings of guilt, feelings of remorse, feelings of regret, feelings of regret about not having grieved completely at the time that I needed to grieve. Why didn't I allow myself that time? Maybe I would have been a lot more, well adjusted in my, brain and my head. I don't know. So I allow myself to kind of unravel on this one day. Because that's the only way I know how to cope. I'm not an expert, but
no one is.
But
that's the thing. This is the human experience. Fuck LGBTQ, straight, whatever. Today I'm listening to you say all these things, and I learn from you. I know that in the event of of something like this happening,
God forbid,
God won't forbid.
True.
I mean? But
real
in the
shit
event
happens.
of, I know that how much time you've taken to get over. It's 8 years now, and that I could also be that person
and
when it does happen. It's all right, but I learn so much, like from this, whatever you're saying, like that. These are things that I could not do. You know what I mean? So, man, I just feel like everybody must be like, fuck,
such a downer. Why
did they decide
Debbie Downer?
No, not at all. I just feel like everyone must be like, why the fuck did they decide to do a podcast on today of all days? But this is it, man. This is it.
Life, and just to kind of give you a backstory, and like while I was driving here, I had so many thoughts sort of going in my head, and the one thought that kept coming back to me was, I allow myself this day to purge. I should do that.
Yeah.
And
why the fuck
not? If it is on a mic, in a podcast, why the fuck not?
Yeah. I'd do it 365 days if I was you. Because
kudos to being more well-adjusted in the head, I guess.
But I feel like self-wallowing is an addiction. Self-pity is an addiction of its own. And it's the fried chicken of emotions. It's like you take the worst things that are making you feel the worst and you fucking take them. It's like greasy food. You know you're not supposed to be eating it. You know you're going to feel fucking awful after you've eaten it, but you do it. It just felt good while you're doing it. So, I do.
But it feels good to kind of, vent and like bloodlet. Because
this is healing. You are healing, and you're going to probably heal forever. And
and conversations heal, sharing heals, and that's one thing I've realized only recently. Sharing
Was
heals.
it the podcast, Sunetro?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Who else are you sharing with, bitch?
I wouldn't want to tell you that.
Oh my god.
It's rated R.
Please don't tell me it's a boy from Calcutta who moved to Delhi and now he's a TikTok star.
No, I shall leave the TikTok boys
to you. Oh my god. Boys will come and go. Everything fucking comes and goes.
So do relationships, so do parents. That's inevitable. But I guess we just learn over time how to make do with it. How to kind of find our way, find our rhythm with
which is, other
people's lives.
Have you ever heard of this poet Rainer Rilke?
No.
So I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know there are people listening to us, and like you just said, like life is about like healing, growing, everything. But if there's someone listening to this, there's a quote I live by. I find quotes damn tacky otherwise. But I'm just going to read it. Yeah. It's by Rainer Rilke. Okay. It's from a book called Letters to a Young Poet. And this is what he has to say. And I hope it helps you in some way. Yeah, here goes. Be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the question themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign language. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given because you will not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now, and perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing, live along some distant day into an answer. And I felt like I sounded too spoken word but I'll tell you why I live by this.
Tell me why.
I've learned to stop questioning stuff. I've learned to just arrive at an answer.
I'd like to get there.
I like living to an answer.
Yeah,
and again, I just feel like I can't help but put like a LGBTQ lens on this, and how we all come from strained relationships or incomplete relationships with our parents.
Even the happiest relationships with parents, they have some white noise. They have some white noise that comes and bothers you again and again.
Once I have a friend. He came out when he was like 15. Yeah. And his parents love him regardless. Like we knew, like his parents were like, we don't give a shit. You can suck as much dick as you want. Like they were very progressive, forward this. And I remember feeling like, once my vet told me that if a stray cat sees a domestic cat, they feel like, this motherfucker, we need to kill him. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about that gay guy, because nobody else gets that. It's such a rare slice of cake that nobody gets to taste, which is like you had a confrontation-free, smooth sailing,
coming out,
like sexual awakening / parents who understood where you're going.
Yeah.
Man, and it never ends.
It's like being annoyed by really cheerful people.
Sure.
Like on a Monday morning, like you want to sock them in their face. Like, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like I feel that all the time.
And for us, even acceptance is not a one fucking destination. Now my parents understand. No,
then
after
there's
a while
next
they
step.
start worrying like, first
partnership.
Are you going to end up alone?
Then it's you and someone.
Are you going to get HIV?
Yes.
Are you going to end up alone? Oh my God, you are a Parsi Baba who's going to die alone. Like they really go there.
Levels
my
of
mom
paranoia.
Sometimes is in that level now, where she's come to terms with, okay, whoever, boyfriend, this, that. But now she actually sometimes just looks at me in a way where she feels like, oh my God, this guy's going to be one of those crazy Parsi guys who like just has his own kettle of tea and like doesn't want to share, and like has a cat now, so he's a crazy cat lady already. And it just never fucking ends, man. Like the process of acceptance.
And I wish. Are you jealous a little bit of like the current generation? Because I see like 20, 21-year-olds who've come out and it's so uneventful.
Can I tell you something? I recently had a conversation with two girls from Sahas, and all the notions that I have about the LGBTQ community that have changed have actually just gotten worse.
Are you
Can
serious?
I tell you something?
Yeah.
The number one reason they told me people still come to them for therapy, and they said it has quadrupled almost, is people unable to come out to their families. And I was just stunned. I had this notion that nowadays, everybody is out and like fluid and all of that.
Yeah.
But turns out it's almost on an epidemic level where people are finding, and I don't understand the reason for what. Because I feel like
there's more exposure, there's more
sensitized.
People are more sensitized.
Nope. Turns out like coming out is just as much as a problem it was now than it was back then.
So will it ever get better?
Do not try to answer questions right now.
Yes. Well.
Just live into it. Live into it. And again, I just repeatedly feel like through our experiences, if anyone who's listening, if you're going through shit with your parents, if you feel like you have things that were left unsaid or you were abandoned in some way by your parents, I just feel I want to leave a little cliff note that just let go. Don't even like spend time trying to work through it, process your feelings and all. This is life. It gets shitty. The more you work on yourself, is
better.
literally that's the only way out of this. That's the only way out of like at least parental bullshit.
Yes.
At least parental bullshit. Everything else, you can feel fickle about a fucking fling or like
of course,
anything. But
no, because
the grass.
This comes like a package deal, right? Like you can't escape this package deal.
You can't.
And you question the possibility of actually you question the validity of deification of
Absolutely.
parents, because
and we are a species that is wired to compare.
Yes.
I feel like before Instagram, before anything, before you compared your holidays or your whatever in life, like you compared your salary or anything to someone else, I think the first thing you do is compare your parents to other people's parents. And I just felt like I spent so many years thinking, why can't my parents be like this one's parents? Why can't my mom be like that one's mom? Why can't... But then really, my mom was like, why can't you study more like that boy? Why can't you be thin like that guy? So like it's a long fucking circle jerk.
But have you ever thought have you ever come to this point in your head where, you're reasoning how your mom's way better than a lot of other moms, and in which
I'm
ways?
happy for her. There are certain things my mom does which she found very late in life. I'm so happy she found them. For example, fitness. My mom at 45 took her first trek to Nepal, and it changed her. She physically, visibly came back a changed person. She was still as much a see you next Tuesday. But she just fell in love with the mountains. And I'm not kidding, now she's 73, and she's climbed Mount Everest 3 times.
Wow.
Base camp. Don't give her too much credit.
Bitch.
Base camp. She's major into CrossFit. She teaches yoga and Pilates for 4 hours a day.
Wow.
She's the senior citizens gym instructor at their gym. You know what I mean? For senior citizens who go to the gym, she helps them with like curling, whatever. She's... I love that about her. I love that she just isn't that one angry, horrible person that I always pegged her to be.
Yeah.
She does, it's all for herself.
Yes, of course.
But I love that she has that side to her.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was your question?
Whether you've ever compared the other way, almost
No,
thinking
so
that...
I know that... See, this is where it gets complex. Those are exactly the kind of things I hate about her also. Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Because I have forever, since, again, she started this, I always got the, your mom is so fit, why aren't you so fit? Why aren't you so healthy? And a lot of can I tell you, of all the things I've got over that my mom damaged me with, I think body image issues and the way I my relationship with food was the most fracturing thing that she did.
That's a loaded topic. We should
totally
circle that
I know,
someday.
I know.
Yeah.
But again, I have come to these, I have arrived at these conclusions. You know what I mean? These are not things that make me frantic like they used to a couple of years ago. Now I understand that even though what I said sounds like I'm blaming her for my problem, I know not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I know it's my fucking shit to deal with, and when I deal with it, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But did I ever feel like she was better? I feel like there were a lot of things she could have done better, but then this is fucking life. There's no reverse on this. Like, it's happened, whatever, the way she is, the way she would be, could be, should be, will be. I have no fucking idea. I have just learned that it's my response. Again, I will repeat that, but I have learned that everything, whether I'm in a relationship, whether the way I am in a room with my mom today, like right now, if I was, I feel it'll always be my response and my reaction to any sort of like, and this is something that I've not even learned in therapy. I just, again, because you can do this, right?
Yeah.
You can spend years fucking wallowing in like, why me? You know, why did this happen to me? Or you just fucking come to terms with the fact that, you know what, this is how it is and this is how I gotta play
just,
it.
just move on. Yeah.
Move the fuck on.
Yeah.
What? I have so many questions for
Oh
you,
my
but
God,
I don't
yes.
know where to like. I don't know. I hope you feel better, man.
I do. I mean,
I hope you heal also soon now. And I hope.
It's going to be an ongoing process always. And
what am I asking of you? I'm not asking you to like, hey, you need to stop thinking.
Exactly.
Obviously. So
yeah, but like the whole idea of letting go and just slowly, gradually coming to a point where you make peace with things that are never going to happen. I think that's a journey that I'm still on, and I think I will be on it. I mean, it's screwed me up for years. But
do you think any of whatever's you've spoken about so far, like not getting closure with her or her not being in your life anymore, your relationship with your dad, do you think any of it has trickled into your relationships in any way? Or did it and now it's not a thing? What?
Wow, that's like unraveling very interesting stuff. Okay.
The onion becomes the oniony.
Yes. So, I think one of the primary ways in which my experiences with my mother, rather, not my dad so much, my experiences with my mother ended up sort of defining a lot of relationships was how I wanted to detach from all the things that were her when we were estranged. There were a lot of emotions, there were a lot of character traits that
you did not want to be those.
I did not want to be those. And I don't know whether it's again my way of sort of, latching onto her by not latching onto her. I don't know whether it's like this weird kind of, detachment. But that has been very, very, because I've also seen my parents were in a very, they were in a love marriage and like, they married for love. But I've seen a lot of, bad days.
Sure.
And, my constant effort is to not have those bad days. And when I look back, I've had exactly those bad days. And again, it's not cool to just say, oh, it happened because my mom was also like that. But it has come to define over time what not to do. And it's really strange because it's really, that's like, I don't want to I want to make sure that I don't make those mistakes. I want to make sure that I don't, set those sort of examples for myself in the future. I think that's how it's kind of trickled. But other than that, not so much. I mean, that's a lot, but but yeah, other than that, it's not so much in terms of what I expect from relationships and stuff. It's more to do with me rather than what I expect from a relationship.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh my God, I'm bisexual. So I visibly, when I was dating girls, this whole projection that I talk about, this whole, oh, you're a woman, that's why. It was after years I realized what I was doing. I dated two girls one for 3 years, one for 4 years, So I'm talking like a good 7 years of realizing that, fuck, I actually I have a very acidic outlook towards the other gender. And which is why even till date, I a lot of times question if I'm not friends with so many lesbians. Like I have very few lesbians. I have my select lesbians.
Yeah.
Because they are like strong women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lesbians tend to be strong, not only in terms of appearance. I don't want to be like generalizing, but you know what I mean? They're strong-headed, fierce women. And my mom is a strong-headed, fierce woman. So I just sometimes question, so the way this finds a way like to trickle into your life can be, but there was a whole phase I felt, but with boys I instantly,
Not so much.
I learned the other things like how I just always had an assumption that, because I come from again, my parents have separated thrice and got back together thrice. So I come from a very chewing gum stretched kind of dysfunctional family. Like, oh, they are separating again. There was this time when my brother who had got divorce papers.
Oh my God.
Like, please can you all not stay together for us? Because that's the thing. No parents do that. We are staying together for you people. No, please separate. In fact, right now when I was saying all these things about, oh, my mother does this and she tracks, there's so many times I envision this whole different scenario where she once comes and I just find out she has a extramarital affair. I would be so happy. I would be so happy that, maybe... No, I'd still be happy, but like extramarital, like she's having an affair. I just want her to fucking live a bit because I feel like she was so imprisoned by herself, which is another part that I learned later on, that I don't think it was a personal thing. I just felt like she was so trapped, and I don't want to go into patriarchy and all, but like fucking mothers have to give up shit. I'll tell you, there was one moment which was such a tender moment for me, but I happened to stumble upon a photo album my mom had very successfully hidden, which was her portfolio shoot that she got done in the 80s. I'm talking about her on all fours on top of a Maruti van. She's posing, fierce.
Oh my God.
And there was nothing. I just saw these pictures of my mom posing as a model. And I instantly just realized how much she had to. She's never said that, oh my God, she wanted to be a model. But I saw those pictures and I just, in a lot of ways, I tried to realize that where her frustrations come from. You suddenly fucking pop a kid, 2 fucking C-sections. God,
and then,
so I would have totally, and which is why so many times I think that I'm not in a position, like I don't expect kids anytime soon, but I always wonder if I had kids, would I have felt trapped and would have made them miserable? It's better to not find out. That's an answer I won't live into. Fuck that shit. But I just, so again, if someone's listening and they feel like, is this how it's going to be forever? It won't be. Like, you will find forgiveness in your heart, not only for the person who wronged you,
exactly.
Especially a parent, but you'll just fucking grow out of it. And whether it's death or like
have you watched this movie called Rabbit Hole? So there's this.
It's about a movie.
It's a fantastic movie. It's about this couple that loses a child, and incidentally, the mother. So the mother's mother had also lost her child. So that's what this mother-daughter pair almost connect on, but their approaches are so different, and there's this beautiful exchange between the two of them, where the grandmother, so to say, tells this woman that you will learn how to deal with it, and this mother says, but how? It's like a brick. And then this grandmother says, it is like a brick. It just, that weight will never go, but you just learn to carry it around. And you just forget that there is a weight. And I think that's maybe one of those ways of, like, you can't be completely free. You're tied for blood, and that's reality.
Just learn to live.
You just learn to live with it, live for it, and find your way around it. I guess I'm trying to do that.
And I hope you are successful at it. And I don't know if I'm taking too much of a liberty here, but like, if Mama Larry is listening, thank you for Sunetro. Look at you. You're talking about your feelings. I'm sure so many people resonate with what you're saying. So many people are going through exactly what you're going through. And if they find even you are worth it, man. I'm so happy we had this conversation.
I'm so
glad. And whoever's
I did.
listening, if this was extra grim, extra morose or surly, deal with it.
And we'll come up with more cheerful topics on other episodes.
Let's just depress the fuck out of everyone. We should go to a point. You know what our success, when we know we've been successfully depressing the community, we go to Grindr and everyone's fat as fuck. Like, everybody in a 5-kilometer radius should be like waddling into like hard year. You know what I mean?
It's like that. The last act of
depress everyone.
Like,
life gets shitty. Sometimes wallow in it, but don't do too much of that, because that will not help you grow. And just fucking keep growing, keep working on yourself.
And let life take over, and just go with the flow.
Hey, okay. On that note, that was our Mother's Special.
Mother's Special, yeah.
On GAYBCD, and we will see you guys soon.
Very soon. And if you guys want us to talk about something specific, we're always up
This
for...
is one of those topics that even if we ask people to tell us about how will they write in a tweet? We couldn't complete in like 50 minutes. We couldn't talk about our mothers enough.
Exactly,
so Yeah, but again, if you want to write to us, if you want to like talk to us, please do that, because I feel like that'll give us at least 50 more episodes.
Yes.
If we just hear what you have to say, what you're feeling, and please, if you want to find Sunetro, where?
On Instagram, it's glitterbugged, Bugged.
He is glitterful.
Not today, though.
And I'm Farhad.
And this is Farhad.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Just look up Farhad Karkaria.
Keeping
the
it
most
simple.
good-looking display picture is me. And if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcasts.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. Just reach out to us, man. We hope to hear from you. Bye.
Bye.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट लगते हैं. नाम है फुटबॉल शुटबॉल.
Presenting Football Shortball, a show about three friends discussing our favorite game over a beer. Sometimes 3, maybe even 5. Hi, I'm Shiva, and with me are my two sidekicks, Gaurav Sapre and Karthik Iyer.
Sidekick? You mean like Batman's Robin or Van Persie Robin?
No, I mean like Alexis Sanchez, but with a little more skill than just playing the piano.
Ha, just shows how the best players at Arsenal are mere bench warmers at United.
Oh, thank you, Iyer. But you're a Fulham supporter. So whenever you say anything to support me, I question my beliefs.
Just like how Griezmann would say, एक बार मैंने जो decision ले लिया, तो मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
Banter aside, we will talk match reports, transfer rumors, top controversies, fantasy football picks, and so much more. So grab a beer and tune in to Football Shootball every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Careers in the new podcast series presented by Accenture, and I'm your host Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay. In this podcast series, we'll get you the latest and greatest in the world of technology that's shaping the future of business as we know it. We're talking intelligent platforms, cloud, AI, blockchain, extended reality, and a whole lot more. Every fortnight on Wednesdays, we'll have for you a hot topic with expert speakers from Accenture talking about top trends in the space, how these are changing the world and creating growth across industries. And more importantly, we'll tell you how you can learn more, build your skills and expertise to grow and stay relevant in your career. Episodes out on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcast from.